Hello guys, Crispy here, welcome back to another video. In this one, my friends, I'm gonna be testing a GeForce GTX 1650 4GB GDDR5 in Battlefield 6 Beta. This one is the Gigabyte Mini ITX OC model of the card. I'm running it with the latest Nvidia drivers and I'm not manually overclocking it. You can see all of its specs right here in Tech Power Up's GPU Z, and over on the left, I'm pairing it with the i5-12600KF CPU and 32GB of RAM. This is overkill for a 1650, and if you have a slower CPU and lower amount of memory, it will probably struggle even more, but let's see what it can do without any bottlenecks in the system. Shall we? Going over the settings first, I am starting at 1080p resolution, utilizing the lowest settings possible. This is not the low settings preset because this is disabled right here. The low settings actually utilize GTAO on low. So we're disabling that. This is the lowest that it can go, and over on the advanced settings here, I am using no anti-aliasing, no upscaling at the moment, although I will definitely try that out. Okay, let's see how it does. That's not too bad, actually. All right. You know what? This is performing better in this game, where the minimum requirements clearly ask for 6GB of VRAM, holy crap, than in some other titles that recommends lower end GPUs than the 1650 or the 1650 itself. So that's actually quite surprising, guys. It does still have a little bit of issues, obviously, with stuttering and so on, and this map isn't really the most intensive one, so hopefully we'll get to another map later on. But still, this is way better than I expected already. That's not bad. 40s. Most of the time, the frame time is actually flat there, just with those little stutters that we still saw on much higher end systems. There we go, another one down. Ah, damn it. It feels pretty terrible though with 40 FPS. I guess I'm not gonna play very well in this one, especially with the drops into the 30s. That's feeling really bad actually, guys. But hey, still, it is quite a lot better than what I expected here. I thought we'd get like 20 FPS at 1080p low settings, and he's getting 30-ish, 43 on average there. There we go, and we're able to play the game and kill some people. Look at this. Oh boy, oh, that was... Again, that was a miss because of the low FPS. I couldn't readjust the aim fast enough there. This game also suffers from a memory leak issue, so you will need 32GB or more than 16GB of RAM if you want to play it smoothly. Otherwise, after like 20 minutes, your FPS will drop to half of the frames that we're seeing. So keep that in mind, again, but that goes for any system with any GPU. It's not related to the GTX 1650 over here. Actually, back in the days in Battlefield 3, I played a ton of it. Oh boy, this is not the way I wanted to go. There we go. Come back to cover, buddy. There it is. I played a lot with 40-ish FPS at 720p resolution, sometimes 50s, sometimes even 35 locked completely. And I still played really well, and I have a lot of hours on it. On Battlefield 3, that is, as long as it doesn't stutter and as long as it doesn't drop to like half frame rates, once again, because of the memory leak, it's going to be good. For a beta especially, this is definitely super, super nice, guys. What the hell? What's the last time, when was the last time you played a recent 2025 title this well at 1080p resolution native on a 1650? 4GB GPU, and this is a GDDR5 model as well. It's not even a GDDR6, which is a bit faster, around 10% faster. I just expected really bad things, since some of you have been saying that you can't really play the game at all with 4GB GPUs, yet others say that they can. So what I think is happening is, by the way, I'm going to use FSR quality now. What I think is happening is, they're on our back, yes, is people with 16GB of RAM, or lower than that, possibly, are having massive, massive performance drops after a while of playing the game, because that RAM usage will just keep on going up and up and up, and eventually it will reach like 22 gigabytes, like I've seen it in my 9060 XT video. And people with 4GB cards who also have 32 gigabytes of RAM, or more than 16, won't have a problem, which is how it should be, obviously. Doesn't look terrible either with this version of FSR that they're using. It's not the latest one, far from it actually, but at least it's not super noisy like in some other games. Oh my gosh. Come on, we need to go, we need to move away. Explosions there. Oh, grenade very close to us. Hold the objectives, mates. Hold the objectives. We can do this. No, he died. No, I can only see their heads. I'm gonna go back here into cover. No, no. Gosh, no one is looking at that area, seriously. Also, in terms of FPS right now, we're seeing very similar results to what we saw recently with DLSS quality coming from the native resolution without anti-aliasing. Since native resolution without anti-aliasing is so much less intensive than with anti-aliasing, okay, we just lost. Whenever you enable the upscaler, you don't gain too many FPS, unfortunately, and that's why we're still getting 50-ish frames per second. It could also be because we're VRAM limited at the moment. And by the way, yes, we can be VRAM limited even though this is not touching 4 gigabytes, all right? But at least the power utilization of the GPU is very normal. It's not like it's dropping a lot, so it's not too VRAM limited. I think the game knows how to handle low VRAM amount GPUs pretty well. Here we go. I'm testing out a new weapon here, the AK. Alright, it's the first time that I'm trying it out here. Looking great still, hitting 60 FPS looking in this direction. That's nice. Again, that's something that I did not expect to see. Playable FPS, even at 1080p native res on a GTX 1650. Now, I guess the developers were targeting 60 frames per second for the minimum requirements. That's why they didn't put any 4GB GPUs in there. Alright, I kind of want to use a lower FSR preset. You know, quality FSR might be a little bit too much here. Doesn't give us a big boost in performance. But balanced or maybe even performance might. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do here. It's still not feeling very good with 50 FPS. It's playable, and that's way better than I thought it would be once again, but still pretty bad experience compared to what I've been used to at this point. And with performance FSR, we can indeed reach 60 FPS average, it seems. It will still drop into the 50s, and it will likely drop into the 40s as well, in more intensive areas. Oh, that's actually like a laser. This doesn't have a lot of recoil for some reason. The AK. Alright. It's good at long ranges because of it. Anyway, let's keep on going here. This is 540p resolution at this point. It's really low res internally. It's pretty soft. It now has a ton of issues with artifacting as well. Lots of pixelation and blurriness and... Ugh, it's just bad looking right now. But at least it gets good FPS. Right? 60s. So maybe this makes me hopeful for the 720p resolution here with the GTX 1650. Alright, we could actually go in here. What the heck? Let's go, move this direction. 40s. Oh my, it's starting to drop a lot, guys. Okay, still got the double kill there. Yeah, that was a very bad push in terms of stability. I saw a lot of stuttering there. It was super distracting. I couldn't move right sometimes, so... yeah, it really sucks, guys. But, again, it is still playable. So, props to the developers for making it playable even on GTX 1650. Below minimum requirements, you know? I feel like this... if this card had 6 gigabytes of VRAM, it would probably fare much better in terms of stability. Because, again, with that push, lots of particle effects everywhere and smoke effects and so on. Intensive stuff, right? It was really bad. It dropped into the 40s, and it dropped into the 40s again just by shooting at these people here. So, yeah, 60 FPS average is possible, maintaining 1080p resolution, but with FSR performance, so that's a bit too low in terms of resolution and still doesn't make it good at all in terms of FPS. It's just barely playable, I guess. But let's go ahead and try it at 720p resolution. I'm really curious here, so let's do that. Here we go, 1280 by 720p resolution, and I needed to put it on 100 Hz. For some reason, 120 Hz wasn't working here with the capture card. Probably just a capture card issue. Oh my god. Indeed, we are getting those 60 FPS that I thought we would get. So the FSR performance, even though it was running at a lower resolution, it's still more intensive. The upscaling part is more intensive than running 720p internally, or natively, actually. My god, dude, we are just getting completely wrecked in this area. I wish we could progress into the map, you know? Oh boy. They are supposed to be defending, and we are supposed to be the ones pushing them. But they don't care at all. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, look at that. And then they got snipers on the other side. Yeah, this is... It's making the 1650 gameplay look worse than it actually is. Maybe I should go with the recon loadout and start sniping those bastards on the hills. I would also be able to see better since I would have a bigger scope, you know, at 720p. It's very handy. But once again, I wasn't expecting 66 FPS average. I thought the averages that we got at 1080p resolution would be the averages that we'd get at 720p resolution. Yet here we are, 66 FPS. But let's go to another map. This one is much more intensive, and 720p is delivering, well, it's still close to 60. I guess when things start heating up, it will definitely be lower than 60 most of the time. But honestly, it's reaching 70s. Huh. What? Okay. That's quite decent. Can I grab onto that guy over there, like on his back? That would be very nice. Imagine if someone does that, a mod or something like that, I don't know, in a modded server. What the hell? I thought we'd get like 10 less FPS, yet we're here reaching 10 more FPS sometimes. I guess the other map had so much going on in that little space. The enemy team was all there, basically, shooting and throwing smoke grenades and fire and so on, whatever, that it actually became as intensive as this one. Explode the thing, explode the thing. That takes a really long time. There we go, everything coming down. Good stuff. And the rubble here. Look at that. Can't go up there, I guess. Maybe I can, but didn't try too hard, you know? What the heck? No, I'm on fire. I'm on fire. Let's jump on the ground like in Battlefield 1. Oh boy. There's a guy. What the hell are you doing? All right, there we go. You know, your best friend here when you're playing with lower FPS than ideal is laser sight. The laser sight is so good. I was really not expecting it to be so stable on 8GB or 4GB GPUs. 8GB, that's the habit, you know, because newer titles usually don't play well on 8GB GPUs, let alone on 4GB GPUs, right? Yet here we are, Battlefield 6. Hello, guys. Oh boy, grenade somewhere. Who threw that grenade? I have no idea. Let's keep on going. Keep it going, keep it going. Let's roll. Oh boy, it's far away from them. Not good. Ah, okay. Oh boy, too many. Dropping into the 40s. The GPU power usage is also dropping a little bit, 10 watts from previously. So, yeah, it's definitely running out of VRAM at this point and dropping performance because of it and stuttering because of it as well. So it's pretty unstable now with 4 gigabytes of VRAM, unfortunately. That RAM is still under control though, so even with 16 gigabytes of RAM, it would have been performing the same, at least so far. Nice. Nobody died. Okay, from our team. Hello? What's going on? There's still a guy there. Come on. Dead. Okay, come on, come on, come on, come on. I gotta tap, tap, tap on that guy. Oh no, low ammo. No! Oh my god! Please! No! We died with the fire! But yeah, guys, it's not an absolutely awful experience. For example, the Elder Scrolls Oblivion works worse than this with proper GPUs that have enough VRAM to play it. So, yeah, you will feel slowdowns here and there. It's also still a beta, so if they come up with like a very low settings preset with a lot lower resolution textures than what they have on low right now, it could be possible to play it pretty well without those huge slowdowns on a GTX 1650. And that's pretty wonderful. So if you use a card like this, let me know in the comments down below, and also tell me if you are playing this game with GTX 1650 or any 4 gigabyte card. because I'm interested. How many of you are actually playing on these older GPUs with 4 gigabytes of VRAM? And how many of you want to play Battlefield on it? Because this could have been a much better experience. If only it wasn't for the VRAM limitation. Okay, gosh, that's probably the first time that I switched to the pistol and I actually managed to kill the guy. Because the pistol is really underwhelming in terms of damage. Yeah, now I'm really curious to see like a 1650 Super or GTX 980 with 4 gigabytes of VRAM. That should be pretty interesting to check out. Fury X? Yeah, the Fury X also has 4 gigabytes of VRAM. And I actually bought a Fury X previously, guys. But it died, unfortunately, before I could make a full-on review of it. I still managed to make a GTA 5 video, though. Oh, damn it. I would like to bring it here, but yeah, for some reason, my old GPUs from AMD always die. 570, I had like 2 of them. Both died. 580 now died very recently, like last week. I installed it. It just gave me a black screen. The Fury X as well. It's probably just because they've been mined on. You know, I always buy them used, so yeah. But yeah, with that said, guys, thanks very much for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed. GTX 1650 still has a little bit, just a tiny bit of life left in it to play Battlefield 6. And it can be a little bit enjoyable, although these settings here with FSR on quality and 720p resolution are way too low. It's super blurry, I really dislike it. And XeSS is not good either at these lower resolutions because it's more intensive than FSR, so it would drop our performance a lot more. Catch you in the next one. Love you all. Bye-bye.